Okay, last tutorial we just talked about simple PHP code blocks and some variables. In this tutorial we're going to actually do something with the variables, and we're going to do various conditional tests with them. And this basically defines the most root level type of statement in all programming languages. They're called the conditional statements, which allow you to do processing based on conditions and based on the state of various data items you have in the application. So we're going to go back to our page here. I renamed it hello conditions.php. And what you see is we created three variables up here. One for name, one for age, one for favorite drink. In case I didn't explain it in the last video, variables in PHP always start with a dollar sign, and usually I think you can have numbers and letters in the name, no spaces. You can't have spaces. So when you declare a variable name, you would just do dollar sign variable name with no spaces or any special characters. And just to recap, the variables can be strings. The strings are defined within quotation marks. The quotation marks are on each side of Rob here. Or they could be numbers such as integers or decimal. Decimal number, like you can have cost equal. You can have a variable called cost equals 1.99, meaning $1.99. If it's a number, you don't put quotes around it. You just simply declare it as a number it is. And finally, what I talked about is I talked about how statements are executed in PHP within code blocks. This web page here, it's now a PHP document, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 code blocks. Basically, what the server does as it prepares this page to send to the browser, it executes and evaluates all the code within these code blocks. The first code block simply sets the name, age, and favorite drink. Second code block basically echoes or outputs the name variable, the value of name, which would be Rob. The same with the third code block. And then finally, this code block here, we just put some text in between hello, name, and age. And finally, we have age and favorite drink code block. So we're going to do something with this "you are an adult" line here. We're going to use PHP to completely output all of this based on the age. What we're going to make another code block. And remember that they're defined by the less than question mark and question mark greater than symbol. We're going to do what's called an if statement. And what an if statement does is it evaluates a condition in here in the parentheses, and then you can add an else to the if statement. And what these curly braces are, they define blocks of code to execute if the condition of this statement is true, it'll execute whatever is here. Otherwise, or else, it'll execute here. We don't have a condition yet, so we're going to add a condition real fast. We'll check to see if age is greater than 17, and it'd be an adult. And what we're going to do in this code block is we're going to echo. Oops. And I'm going to put the HTML tags in here, the paragraph tags. All these tags you see outside of the code block, that's just standard HTML, and that's very easy to learn aside from this. These tags basically tell the browser how to display the content. For instance, H1 is a large text heading tag. The P tag is a paragraph tag, which allows space between the various paragraphs. And each tag must be ended. They start and they must be ended to tell the browser how to render the document. So I'm going to actually put the tag inside this echo statement. And then we're going to do the else part of the statement, which is we're checking to see if age is greater than 17. We're saying you are an adult. But if it's not greater than 17, we have to put this code for this condition. So we'll say you are a minor. I'll go ahead and save this. We'll go ahead and look at the refresh this file, and you saw basically this has changed a little bit. I used to have caps R and adult, and all the first letters were all caps. What I did is I removed that hard-coded line, HTML line, and I echoed "you are an adult." So basically, the if statement was true because the age was 42. We're going to change something real fast. We're going to change a few things, and I'll show you how variables are used. I mean the value of variables. We'll change the name, and we'll change the drink. We'll make the favorite drink Coke. We'll go ahead and save. We're going to go ahead and refresh. Okay, so now you see that this page completely changed. This is what PHP does. It takes a static HTML page and turns it into something that's very dynamic and can change. First of all, the title of the page is Hello Megan. The heading tag is Hello Megan. Her age was 15. Favorite drink is Coke, and she's a minor because now, since 15 is less than 18, it executed the else statement. So this is the end of lesson 2. Basically, lesson 2 we just talked about. We talked a little more about variables. They start with a $sign, and they have a name without any spaces or special characters. They can be strings or numbers or decimals. We talked about, we recapped code blocks. This tells us the server between here and here it's got to execute, and then it starts out, and then it can continue outputting to the browser. And we talked about the if statement. If statement is if, and within the parentheses here you have a statement to evaluate. And basically, if this statement is true, it will execute whatever is in the code block underneath that. And then we use the else, which means if it's not true, do this. This concludes lesson number 2. Next lesson, we're going to talk about passing data in for name, age, and favorite drink, so that you can just, by navigating to the page with these guys in the web address, it can change the output of the page.